You are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome here.
Welcome, everybody. Good job. It's great to see you here today at the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living. I am Reverend Bonnie Rose, and we are going to have a really wonderful day today. So grateful that you're here, so grateful that you're watching online, and just thank you for joining us in this Kindness Cathedral. I'm going to pass the word over to my friend Jennifer here.
And I forgot what I was supposed to say. I'm looking forward to today. Bonnie's going to interview Jaspreet, and she's from the Sikh
Gudwara.
Gudwara, yeah, that one. And and it's going to be lovely. She's singing one of her chants later, and the choir is singing their wonderful song this morning. So we have like a great performances happening today, and a lot of neat information being shared. And of course, we always share love, and serve love here. So I can't wait to see how that unfolds today.
Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate it. So now we'll go ahead and call forth our youth, and any kids that want to come on the stage are welcome to. But Bill is definitely coming up on the stage. Okay. Come on up. Come on up, kiddo. Okay.
Good morning. I think our youth are coming forward. Wonderful. Good morning. Beautiful. What we wanted to talk to you about this morning is that a few weeks ago, we had the honor and privilege of hearing Reverend Karen Mondragon read for us in a youth program.
And we continue to breathe deeply and allow ourselves to settle into that divine presence that abides within us, that beautiful place of truth and love, letting go of what came before, and simply being present here to listen to the words of our sacred reading.
We are complete in Thee, by Ernest Holmes. Almighty God, everlasting good, eternal Spirit, maker of all things and keeper of our lives, Thou art all. Infinite presence within us, in whom all live, joy supreme, flooding all with gladness, we adore Thee. Eternal peace, undisturbed and quiet, we feel Thy calm. O Thou who dost inhabit eternity and dost dwell within all creation, who dost live through all things and in all people, hear our prayer. We would enter Thy gates with joy and live at peace in Thy house. We would find a resting place in Thee and in Thy presence live. Make us to do Thy will, and from Thy wisdom teach us the ways of truth. Compel us to follow Thee, and let us not pursue the paths of our own counsel. O eternal and blessed presence, illumine our minds and command our will, that our soul may be refreshed and that our lives may be renewed. As deep cries unto deep, so our thoughts cry unto Thee, and Thou dost answer. We are renewed and refreshed. We respond to Thy love, and we are complete in Thee. All our ways are guarded and guided, and we shall live with Thee eternally. O lover of my soul and keeper of my spirit, none can separate us, for we are one. So shall Thy wisdom guide us, Thy presence dwell within us, Thy love keep us, and Thy life envelop us, now and forevermore. We rest in Thee. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you. In the spirit of divine wholeness, let us remember the truth of our being, the I Am Presence. as we breathe in deeply. And then exhale, opening our eyes in love and in service to what is, as it is, and so it is. So just a few words about that song before we move into the next portion, which is our beautiful interview with Jaspreet. We always talk about the ripples. Susie talked about the ripple effect, that you do an act of kindness and then it ripples outwards. Well, many of us took a class on the mystical Jesus, mystical Christianity, and as part of the class there was Good Friday and Holy Thursday. So we went to a church for a Holy Thursday service with my friend John Forrest, who's a wonderful minister over at Church of the Foothills, choir sang that song. I loved it, brought it to Mary, we sang it. I told John we loved it and it was going to ripple, and he sent the message to his choir director, and what else? There's another ripple in there too. And Vanessa. Vanessa is here. Vanessa is Vanessa Betchel, is the director, the CEO, and the director and the whatever of the Ventura County Community Foundation. And weren't you giving grants for a while to organizations that were, well, thank you. We received grants from you. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, you just see through something like this how there are so many connections. There are so many connections that we're not aware of until they are visible. And the truth is that behind the scenes, there are always connections. We just have to cultivate the eyes to see them. Another wonderful connection that happened for us came out of a tragedy. In this center, sometimes people tell us that when we say everything is good, there's good in everything, they say no, there's not. And sometimes it's very hard to see the good. But there was a tragic incident in I think it was Indiana, where a FedEx building was bombed, and it was largely owned by the Sikh community. And our board president, who's not here today, she's hiking in the mountains, by the way, lucky girl. But anyway, she suggested that we donate to a Sikh foundation. And so we said, why not the local Sikh Gudwara, which is right up on Loma Vista. And then after that, I struck up a friendship with Jaspreet and her husband, Satnam. And their son is here too, Fateh, right? Got it right? Okay. And I've been to their Gurdwara and have spoken there and chanted with them. And I was just so moved by the similarities in the teachings and how beautiful their teaching is that we just had to have Preet come and talk with us. So Preet, would you like to come on the stage? And let's give her lots of Ventura love. Thank you. It's good to see you.
It's very good to see you too, Bonnie. Thank you so much for having me. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
What did you say?
I said Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh means that we are all the children of the supreme, the divine, whatever you might want to call this creation, this all-pervading energy power. And so the victory is for everyone and everything that is in creation.
Do you love her already? I mean, what are we talking about here? That's exactly what we teach. Yeah. So I just wanted to just welcome you and ask you some questions. Perhaps maybe to start, since maybe not everybody here knows about. Now, there's two schools of thought, right? Is it Sikh or Sikh?
Good question. Okay, so it's Sikh.
Sikh.
The reason I think most people started saying Sikh is because they did not want to confuse it with the word Sikh.
Right.
So that's the reason I think they started saying Sikh. But actually, if it's in Punjabi, which is our mother tongue, then it will be a Sikh.
Okay.
A Sikh meaning a learner, a person who learns their whole life. The meaning of Sikh is someone who learns their whole life.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you all able to hear Jaspreet? Okay. A little higher? Maybe. Can Kenny help with that? Oh, by the way, Kenny's back. Yay! Kenny's our sound man. He's been out for a little while. And the sound people really love it when we draw attention to them. So, not really. So, Sikh means learner. That's wonderful. Yeah. So, I'm going to try and say Sikh because I'm going to say it properly, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. So I know you've got slides here, and let's talk a little bit about the teachings. Like, what is the Sikh teaching about?
So there's so much, there's so much that I cannot talk about in, you have limited time, but I'm just going to talk about a few main things, and you will understand what it is that brought about, Sikhism. And so the first thing, when we started, you guys have been singing the same exact thing, that everything is one. Okay, so everything is one. And if you can, so this is Ekunkar, right? Which does not, well, how about next slide? So one here, I don't want you to think of as a singular one as opposed to a multiple. That's not the idea. So when people look at Sikhism in YouTube or in the internet, It's just not what Sikhism is, because, you know, of course, people who put up content would want to get views rather than putting out the thing which is correct. But one here is not an opposite of multiple, or not like a singular one, but rather than oneness. You know, oneness in everything, oneness in creation, oneness in us, oneness in the air, the water, the land, everything that is around us, because the word God, which was a beautiful word, and a lot of people have misinterpreted it, but the divine, the supreme, the all-pervading, the energy, everything around us and in us, that is one. If we were to say one is, you know, just the earth, it's not true too, because without the other planets or the sun, we would not be held like this. So it's the entirety, it's the totality that is one. And because of that one, stems those things that comes into what you would see, like how a Sikh looks, you know, why I have this on my head, why am I covering my head, and why are there certain things. So we love nature so much because it is what we see as a presence, as a symbol, as a you know, something that shows us that this is the creation. So a Sikh will always learn whole life, strive to make the environment better, strive to make the society better. And in that, we have things like in our scriptures, in our Gurbani, that says, Pavan Guru, water, Pavan Guru, air is the Guru. The air is your master, okay? Pani Pita, water is the father. So it's an analogy. Pavan Guru, Pani Pita, Mata Tarat Mahat. Okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
All right, this one.
Okay.
So, sorry. So air is the guru, meaning what? Meaning 500 years ago, when there was no one talking about the environment and stuff, Guru Nanak Dev Ji actually said that the air that we breathe in is our guru, meaning that if you stop breathing, you don't live anymore. Meaning that if your thoughts or your understanding is not what truth is, then we're actually not living anymore.
Can I stop you for 1 sec? I just want to point out a similarity, because for the last several, at least month or so, we were studying this book called The Hidden Gospel, which is about the translation of the Gospels into Aramaic, which gives a different picture. And one of the things that he said is that air is God, breath is God, so that our breath is God itself. And same thing, and I love the way you tied it to if you don't have truth. Truth is like breath. Truth feeds us, and if you don't have air, you die. If you don't have truth, you die. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes.
So
Carry
truth
on.
is actually what Bonnie said just now. Truth is actually everything around us. It's truth. And the only thing that we don't have is the connection with the truth. So the air is the guru, is the teacher, is the master, and it does not have to be a human master. It could be anything that creates understanding in you. So we don't believe in humans or pictures or idols, worship or anything. It's the understanding, it's the truth. So again, coming back, air is the guru. Water is the father. And that analogy, I'm sure 500 years ago, nobody understood because water was so abundant. Today in California, oh yeah, we understand what water is. And then mother is the land, the one that provides food, provides place for you to live. So that combination is also a pillar in Sikhism. Womanhood, 500 years ago, equality between races, between people of every background. Women were considered equal, which was a big thing back then. That's why gurus in our religion had to sacrifice their lives and stuff, because our beliefs were so different at that time. Also, the three main pillars that Guru Nanak Dev Ji brought about was, number one, work hard. Kirt karo, work hard. whoever you are, even if you're running any organization, whatever you're doing, you need to work. Why? Because when you work, you're self-dependent. You're self-dependent, and even if you're preaching, he actually preached and worked on the farms himself. And we don't worship him as God, just a teacher, just someone who created understanding. So work hard. And the second one, Vandachoko, share what you have, not just monetarily, not just food, but share everything, whatever you can. And Sikhs are actually guided to put out 10% of their earnings towards any needy, anything that needs their attention. So Vandachoko and Nam Japo, that is the one that is most misinterpreted. People think that Nam Japo means and meditate, okay, or and contemplate, which is beautiful, but it is a first step towards understanding the divine, the all-pervading energy, force, whatever you want to call this God. But how do you contemplate, And yesterday I was thinking about this, and analogies always change, and Bonnie has been so kind to wait for my slides and stuff like that. So I'm a court interpreter for 3 languages, and it so happened that on Friday, Amazon had contacted, and then they wanted me to go in and help train the Punjabi employees. So what I learned from there was that when you go in, even if they start working, if they don't log on, nothing counts. Even if they work for the whole day and the manager has seen them working, but if they're not in the system, nothing counts. So they make sure that each minute counts. So they make sure if it's 11:30, they log off at 11:30 and log in back at 12:15 or whatever. So Nam Japo here, contemplating, is not the meditation, not the solely meditation. Of course, you need that to calm yourself. But it is the logging on a whole day, connecting to that around us, within us.
Yeah.
And if we're not connecting, just living without it, we're not logged on. We're not in the system.
Yeah.
We need to be a part of the system.
Right.
We need to be like, hey, yeah, I exist, I'm here.
Yeah. And by the system, you mean the system of the divine, of the
Everything.
wholeness,
The creation.
Yeah.
The creation.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful thing to ask ourselves as we go about our days, like say, I wonder if I'm logged on right now, Maybe not.
And it's tough.
It
You're
is.
Right. You're right.
Yes.
You are very right.
But you have a very, as you shared with me on the phone the other day, you have a very devout spiritual practice where you recite all of the scriptures every day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So every morning we recite 5 Banis, and Bani knows them, and I'm really amazed at her knowledge. So the first one is the Japji, which people who practice Kundalini Yoga know it very well. And I'm in the process of translating it. Whenever I'm done with it, I don't know when it'll be, then definitely we'll share. So the Japji Sahib, the Anand Sahib, which we're going to talk about today, and the other 3 Banis, that's how we start our day. We recite them. And Bonnie's like, oh, so you read the whole 40 paragraphs? But you get used to it, and it takes 30-something minutes in the morning, and that's it. It's a very easy kind of way of life. In the morning you recite, and then you do off to work or do whatever you want, but you're logged on.
You're logged on.
You have to try.
Absolutely.
So, but of course, like you always say, the ego, the other things that come into you, the 5 vices as we call them, if you're not logged on, then something's wrong there. Something is interrupting you from them. So a good question, like you said, is, are you logged on?
Now, I just heard a little voice in the wilderness over there say, there are 5 vices. It's like, maybe, because I've got 20. So
okay, so
what are the 5
they are
vices?
the of each.
Okay.
So let's say if we talk about greed, okay, which is one of the, so it's Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Mohankar, right? So Kam is the lust, Krodh is anger, okay, Lobh is greed, Moh is attachment, okay, Hankar is ego.
Okay.
So for instance, greed could be subdivided into selfishness, into deceiving others, into not being sincere, into lying. So each of them then have their own, siblings and children.
I gotcha.
And all
Okay.
that.
So I feel better about myself now. I think the one called ego covers a lot.
You're
right?
very honest.
Yeah.
I think we're all
Yeah.
in the same boat, but you're very honest.
Yeah, we should have done a show of hands. Okay, how many suffer from lust? Show of hands. No. Okay. All right. Okay. So I want to do. I'm sure we could talk for hours about the Sikh teaching, but
I don't want to take your time.
I know. No, it's fine. It's I just want to make sure that we cover certain things. So. One of the things that when I shared with my friend Nipun and his wife Gauri, who is Sikh, I shared that Jaspreet was coming, and Nipun mentioned to me that in the Parliament of World Religions, which is one of the, I think, the second largest interfaith gathering in the world, and there's all these clergy from different faiths, from all these different faiths, and they're all fighting over time to get on stage so that their voice can be heard. And he said the Sikhs were different. They just chose to serve food to hundreds of people every single day. And I know that service is a big part of your faith, so I'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so service with every aspect. I'm not sure if you heard about Khalsa Aid, which is a big organization, which my husband did the slides because obviously I didn't have the time. But you would see the pictures.
Someday.
I think
you can point that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yay!
So you see them, so they're cooking, and I think these are all pictures of them going to different places when an earthquake strikes, or even in Ukraine, people were exiting the country and they were entering the country. Sorry? Which one? Yes. So this is a Sikh Gudwara. Yeah. So the Gurdwara, I noticed that people have difficulty saying that word. So it's Gurdwara. Okay. So Gurdwara is the door towards the Guru. Dwara is the door. Gur is a master, the understanding, which is your teacher. So the door towards the divine understanding. That's a Gurdwara. Okay. Yeah. This is a Gurdwara, and this is called Langar. And if you go to any Gurdwara, like the ones in India, which is one of the biggest Gurdwara, they serve like around 160,000 people per day. For free, yes, for free. Yeah. So if you can't find anything in the town at night, like at 1, you have a Gurdwara to go to. And so the food is obviously vegetarian to serve everybody. To make sure that everybody can eat there, and there's shelter. And I was talking to Bonnie that even when the wildfires, the Thomas fire hit here, we prepared food from our Gurdwara every day for 400 people at fairgrounds, and that carried on for a month through Red Cross. So I must say that Sikhs are very, very fortunate to get to have this blessing that people allow them to serve them.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And whenever earthquake strikes, the first thing is that they will be there, to serve food, to make houses, to build houses for people, to clean up, to all that stuff. Yeah.
Do you ever have friends help? Like non-Sikh people help with you guys?
Yes, definitely. If you look at the Khalsa Aid website, so Khalsa is, by the way, is Khalsa, Khalsa, which we called ourselves, which the Guru called, the entirety. Khalsa means the creation, the purity. Okay, the Khalsa Aid, of course, AID. If you go onto that website, there are people of every religion, every belief, every color in there. And it's not like it's just a Sikh organization anymore, and it's like it's a worldwide thing now.
Yeah. So would any of you be interested in serving in a thing?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Call us.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah. I forgot to mention with the Parliament of World Religions, that one of the things, we have a monk that we know really well too, a Buddhist monk, and when Nipun was talking about how everybody wanted stage time, but the Sikhs served food to everybody. Nipun's comment was also that this Buddhist monk, said that was a greater statement than anything that anybody said on stage, because it's just so humble and so affirming of the divine within everybody.
Yes. Yes, and I will talk to you about that. I know that you have a couple of questions when we talk about how Sikhs are treated and stuff.
Yes.
But one of the reasons is that too. But I will bring it up later.
Okay.
But what you're saying is right.
Yeah. And also just one other thing I thought of as we were sitting here, when I went to your Gudwara, it was off hours because we went to have you sign a letter for some homeless project that we were working on, and I remember one of the things that you said that I was so impressed with was that we bow to the altar or whatever, but we're not bowing to a person, we're bowing to the truth, right? Is that it?
Yes, so we're not bowing to the altar or the script or the book that holds the scripture or the ink or anything, but we're bowing to the understanding of truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the compilation is actually not just Sikh masters, no.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually, out of the 10, just 6 of them have written that. And then there were people from other religions, even Hindus, Muslims, others, rich, poor, everybody, 35 of them, who actually recited Bani during their own lifetime. And that is a compilation of Guru Granth Sahib, which is our scriptures, which is what we refer to when we get stuck, or we need to understand more and stuff like that.
So you bow to the truth. That seems like a really, really good idea. I mean, on just a practical level, like if your ego is let's say if my ego is acting up, that instead of getting in a fight with it, I just bow to the truth, right? That's very much in alignment with a lot of the stuff that we teach here about non-resistance, that you don't resist what seems like is wrong. If you see your shadow and you don't want to see it, you turn towards the light, You see it, know what it is, and then I can turn towards the light. So if the ego's acting up, you turn towards the truth. It's really, really wonderful.
It is.
I love your religion.
I love
switch.
You. I love you.
Oh, thank you. No, I didn't mean that. Sorry, I didn't mean that.
You are already. I mean, everybody is a learner, right? Everybody is a learner.
Yeah.
So Sikhism does not believe in converting at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think one of the reasons that, people don't know us, even though we've been here for like over 100 years. So I was watching this, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's okay.
I was watching this last night, just because I wanted to know, what do people know about Sikhs, And then there is this show of Trevor Noah where Nicki Minaj actually goes out on the road and interviews people, and he has 4 pictures. A picture of a bird, a picture of a child, a picture of a Sikh, like a turbaned and, a person looking like my husband, right? So a turbaned and beard, Sikh, and a picture of a painting, like a mountain and stuff. And he asks people, okay, so sir, from these 4 pictures, which one is a Sikh? And they're like, oh, a Sikh. The first one points at the bird. Definitely that's a Sikh. And the second lady, he asked, and I know, that child's name is Sikh for sure. So yeah, and it's sad, and so like in the courts, there are 12 certified languages in the country out of around 300 languages that people in the United States speak, actually. And out of those 12, Punjabi is one of them.
Wow.
Yeah, but people don't know who we are.
I know.
People confuse it.
Yeah.
So this Nicki Minaj then asks, one of the Sikh actors who has a beard and a turban, just like my husband does, says, why didn't you just tell people when you meet them that I'm not a Muslim? And he says, that's not my faith.
Yeah.
That's not how I'm taught. When I try to board planes, I'm pulled twice. They try to check me. They try to tell me to take off my turban and check. And I'm like, I can't take off my turban. You can scan me, you can do whatever, but they would check me at least twice before they let me board the plane.
Yeah.
And Nicki Minaj says, well, if it was me, I'd just tell them. It was a comedy kind of show. And he said, if it was me, I'd just give them my ID that here you go, sir, this is my ID and I'm not a Muslim, just before they asked me. And he's like, that is not me, because number one, like what you said on the phone, over the phone the other day, number one, we don't believe that being a Muslim is harmful to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, even if you were a Muslim, does not mean you're a terrorist,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we do not actually want to say I'm not a Muslim, because by saying that, you're actually putting yourself higher than them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what a Sikh is.
I love that so much. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about that. Some of the hardships of being sick at this time. I've read about it a little bit since I've met you, and I know that after 9/11, it became much worse after that. I heard.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I don't know if whenever you guys have time, if you go on YouTube, there's this documentary called Mistaken Identity, Sikhs in America. Yeah, that will tell you what happened 9 years ago, or when 9/11 happened. In every state, there were killings of Sikh people, and in like when they worked in the store, because Sikhs are from a northern Punjab, from India, right? So they've always been used to not being treated well since they were in India, because they're a minority, they've not been cherished, they don't have their own homeland. So when they came here, they're treated similar. They have never risen their voice against it because of being used to, the ancestors of being used to that. But sorry, they're forgiving. You're right. You are right. Definitely, yes. We're very forgiving, and we forget instantly what others have done, and that's how it is. But after that, in every state, killings started to happen, and the worst thing was that after they shot an elderly or anyone, they would put the sign saying ISIS on their body and leave,
Yeah.
So for me, it's not that big of an obstacle, because I don't have a turban, and I tie the scarf everywhere. It could be any color scarf. We don't believe in colors or anything like that. And again, it stems from the fact that hair is given by the nature, and we are just trying to make every part of our body so beautiful that we can resonate with nature. So hair is one of the things that we think we were given as a blessing, and it could be made more beautiful. And in an attempt to be able to make it beautiful, we try to tie it up here like he does, and tie a turban around it, because of everything that we have from nature. Just try to make it more beautiful, just like the environment, just like our bodies. That's why a Sikh never smokes, never drinks, because the body is divine. Everything around us is divine. You're trying to make everything so beautiful that everything that is given, you're trying to protect it, you're trying to make sure it looks, it is given its own dignity. So then, I don't have a problem, because I don't look different from you guys much. I mean, if I'm dressed in like, a coat and formal dress when I go to work. But the only Sikh person in Ventura County, Satnam Singh, my husband.
He's the only Sikh person
He's
in
the only
Ventura County?
I'm sorry, in Ventura.
In Ventura, okay.
Yeah. So in the whole of Ventura, the only person that will be driving, because we drive a lot.
Yeah.
That is our work, right? He'll be the only one with the turban and a beard. And obviously he'll get all different signs of of hate when people are driving, So like I was sharing with Bonnie 3 weeks ago, he decided that, okay, just because people look at me, instantly they think that, I'm Muslim or whatever, they think that I'm that. So let me just try to, wear something like here, like a cap, just so that. And then he started for 2 weeks. On the third week, he stopped. And I asked him, you're not wearing that anymore. He says, it's not me. I can't. Although he was wearing it on top of his turban, he's like, it's just not me. And that makes me worry sometimes, because, the neighborhood that we live in, the city that we live in, and, you'd be surprised. There are some people, actually, when we're grocery shopping, will actually come up to him and says, hi, are you a Sikh? And he'll be like, yeah. And they'll be like, oh, we lived in Bakersfield and we have seen a lot of Sikhs and Gurdwaras and we know, about your religion. Do you actually tie it, from right to left or left to right, And he'll be like, you can tie it anyhow. It doesn't matter, there's no superstitions in my religion, but it feels good that someone comes to you and interested. So we have both the polars,
Yeah.
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 So yeah.
So, and that's part of the purpose of this is just to, in our network to educate people and also, to just kind of shake our heads at what Jaspreet presses before. It's like just because someone's wearing a turban doesn't mean they're a Muslim, and just because they're a Muslim, it doesn't mean they're a terrorist. Let's kind of get over ourselves here.
I promise we don't have a bomb or anything with
No,
us.
you're the opposite of that. Really, it's amazing. So yeah, I mean, we're doing this to kind of help get the word out in our own small way, and hopefully this message will ripple to many people. And then I also want to talk to you about another interview in public, but that's another story. We'll talk. Yeah, just to help with some of the challenges that we're facing in whatever small way we can, and eventually, hopefully, it all adds up and something shifts for everybody.
And I know that Bonnie has always asked me, what can we do to help you, to help Sikhs? And the only thing we need is what you're doing right now. What you guys are doing right now is to just know us, that we're here.
Yeah.
And we love all of you, and we have no intention to make anybody feel smaller or bigger. We're just equal, okay? And that we have no intention to convert anybody. No, we just love the way you are. We love the way we are. Everybody is just coming from different routes to the same church here. I came from Telegraph. You came from somewhere else. But the destination is one.
Yeah.
Destination is this church where we came to. But we're all coming from different routes. Yeah. And that's beautiful, because each route has its own beauty. And you are the only one who knows the beauty of your own route. And that's okay, Yeah. So that... Don't judge a book by its cover. Yes, you're right. Yeah. So what you're doing right now, I'm really, really thankful, grateful.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and for doing this for Sikhs.
Thank you. So you kind of led us to an almost close. What's the most important thing that you want us to know today? You may have said it already.
I think the most important thing is just to, if you could, when you go back, just tell one person. Like if each person could just tell another one person who Sikhs are and how they look, that'll be beautiful.
That would be wonderful.
I think one of the slides that I call him Papa because our son calls him Papa. That's
okay.
So you would see that Fateh is going to go to school now.
Yeah.
He has a bun here.
Yes.
Because he ties his hair here. And I know he's going to face a lot of discrimination.
Aww.
I know, yeah. He's going to face a lot. And that's the reason it's sad, but some Sikh kids end up trying to chop off their hair.
Yeah.
Even though they love their faith, because they just can't stand that discrimination, that bullying in school. So these are the 5 symbols that you would see that at back then the Guru had, given the Sikhs. And like the first thing that you would see is the turban on the hair. So the hair, like I said, every part of the body is a divine thing that we are given. And we protect that, we try to make it better and beautiful by putting that, by having long hair, whatever the creation has given us. And then the Ganga is very important because back then there were people who had long hair, but it was not clean, it was not combed. So he made sure everybody knew that they had to keep themselves clean because this is a symbol of the creation.
Yeah.
And then there is that, you see the shorts there, the kachera that we wear inside. So it's actually, you can call it like a form of cotton. It could be any color, something comfortable inside. And it symbolizes that when you're married or when you're in a relationship, you're only with one person. And this was told like 500 years ago before AIDS or any sexual, diseases came into play. And I think we follow that. That is beautiful because when you're in a relationship, to prevent all those, deception, fraud, all those, and deceiving yourself.
Right.
You know that you're in the relationship at that point of time with one person.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then the kara is what, we wear as a symbol, and it does not have to be an expensive one. It's just a normal one. This is a practical symbol that when you do something in your lifetime, you do it with your hands. Whatever action you're doing should not be hurting anyone.
Mm-hmm.
It should not be taking away someone's rights, because we believe a lot in human rights. And it should not be making someone sad, sorrow, bringing any kind of a bad feeling into anyone's life.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you're doing, even if it's business, it's work, it's your daily life, you're cooking, whatever you're doing, you're reminded constantly that, is this the right thing?
Mm-hmm.
And it could be on the right, it could be on the left, depending on your dominant hand. But it's just a reminder of every day.
Yeah.
And the last one that people always question is the kirpan. And this was just a symbol back then when a lot of Sikhs were martyred, killed, because we believed in the freedom of religion. We believed that if you're a Muslim, perfect, great. Be a good Muslim. You're a Hindu, be a great Hindu. You're a Christian, be a great Christian. And I'm a Sikh, let me be a Sikh. Let live and let live, And that's the reason he said, this is not for you to use, no. This is for you to defend when someone comes and gets you.
Oh, okay.
This is not for you to use or attack.
Okay.
No. And that's a symbol that we don't use, but we think of, and we say that, okay, we're supposed to defend ourselves. We're not supposed to, just not fight back when we're going to be killed or anything, because we believe in the freedom of humanity, freedom of belief.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes sense. Yes. In a way, you're fighting for freedom, right?
And there's so many instances when people see women being attacked,
Yeah.
and they go in and help,
Right,
because
right.
that's a Sikh's job.
Right.
I'm supposed to be defending someone who is being hurt or
Right.
being,
Right. You've been fantastic. We're going to have you translate your song right before you get ready to sing it. But let's close out for now. We're going to do one more thing, and then you're going to sing. But let's close out just by giving Preet tons of love. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. Really, what you said was so touching. Thank you. And we're going to have Jennifer. Oh, I have to pray. Sorry, I forgot to pray. Excuse me one sec. You can stay here.
Want me to go?
Yeah, you can just stay here. It's okay. No. We need to go on. So let's go ahead and do the prayer. So let's go, okay? Here we go. So we turn within, and we just breathe, and we allow ourselves to be still and to know. And we trust that there is one life. That life is God's life, and that life is right here, right now, in each and every one of us. That life is living and moving and having its perfect being as we breathe in and we breathe out, and we allow ourselves to center in the awareness, whether we call it truth, guru, love, God, peace, happiness, joy, whatever it is right here, right now, in all things and in each of us. And so we anchor in that spaciousness, and we know that we are one with that presence. We are one with that truth. And we do our best to live from that place. So in living from that place, I speak my word for each of us here today, that our hearts have been opened, that our minds have been expanded, and that we are here to bless all paths to God and to celebrate all of the diversity in humanity that comes forth in religions or nationality or culture or color or orientation, all of these things, so much more. And we also honor the diversity within ourselves, whether it's our darkness or our light or everything that comes up within us. We just trust that it is all here for a high and holy purpose, and we honor that and we celebrate it as we work on ourselves and continue to move into places where we are greater and greater vessels for the all being, for the allness of good that moves through everything. And so let us log in. Let us bow to the truth. Let us absolutely know that truth is our guide, our guidepost, and our heart. And from this place, I give thanks. I give deep and powerful thanks, trusting and knowing that God is one and that all that is so beautiful. Just so grateful for all of that, and so grateful for the transformation that has taken place here in this service today, not only for us, but for the entire world through the ripple effect. In this spaciousness, I bless all paths to God. I bless churches, temples, synagogues, mosques, ashrams, gurdwaras, fundamentalists, atheists, all being everywhere, because all of it is one with the divine. And so with a heart that is so filled with blessing, I say, thank you, Spirit, thank you, love, and I release these words into the divine mystery, and together we say, and so it is. That's right. Namaste. So we turn within and just say thank you. Thank you, divine beloved. Thank you, truth. Thank you, love, for bringing us here together in this service and for opening our hearts to greater wisdom, for greater community, not only in this community, but in the community of the cosmos. We are so grateful for this time that we have shared together, so grateful for everyone who has spoken or sung or served behind the scenes, just so grateful for everybody who has shown up in one way or another. And with a heart filled with gratitude also for the transformation that we take with us and ripple out into the world, we say thank you, Spirit, thank you, love, and we release these words into the law, and together we say, and so it is. Namaste.
And so it is.